Okay, if everybody please turn your mics on.
Yeah, green down there.
Yeah. Might need one of you to put your mic over there. Once mics are on, if everyone would please rise the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, has everybody had a chance to look over the bills?
Yes. We're not paying the National Grid one. That was high, the Family Energy.
No,
Okay. We're
no, we said no to that.
We rejected the bill.
okay.
We rejected the
So
bill.
it's not on there. It was on the thing to pay. So,
No.
okay. So that's off. Good. Shoulder maternity did that. That's done. The cleaning ladies got $100 raise, each of them.
No.
It went from 200 to 300.
They came in one extra day there, I told them, because springtime, they came in and they did all the windows on the inside and the outside. They did an extra
So
day.
an extra time commission.
Yeah.
Okay. And the Univera insurance should be going down with Maureen and Dale.
It will be going down with them going on to
So right-
Medicare.
So right now it's the same, but eventually we're going to see a drop.
Yeah, we're going to see a drop. But I also sent out emails forwarded to all of you. Univera's proposal for 2025, it's like an 18% increase. That's what they're proposing to the state. Now, what they'll get, what the state agrees upon will be a different story, but that's 18% is a huge increase that they want to do.
And unfortunately, a lot of them. Finance.
Is that recording? Oh. Yeah.
Okay. I'm not on the energy one. I just wanted to. I don't think that's it. Just to make sure that family one wasn't included in the bills that we okay to pay. That they don't come back and say, "Well, you okay paying it? Pay us." Thank you. I came across it when and I made a note on it, and I can't find which we pay so many different electric bills.
Well, Dave was real quick on top of that with my absence and got a hold of Bridget. And they, with the refusal, we were not gonna pay it whatsoever.
Okay, good.
So it shouldn't,
Shouldn't have
she
showed up.
may have originally put it down until she got the advice from them.
Okay.
Trust me, if I see a check come through to me, it's gonna get torn in half.
I'm all set. Those are the only questions I had.
Anybody else? I hear a motion then to accept the bills.
I'll make the motion.
Margaret?
Second.
George is second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Opposed? So carried. Okay, board minute meetings from May 8th.
So is there a new?
Any questions on the minutes then?
Nope.
We hear a motion?
I'll make the motion to accept the minute.
I'll second it.
Kirk and David. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Okay, there are no presentations at this time. Speakers. Ms. O'Keefe, do you happen to be on the phone? Yep, I'm having Margaret's putting her microphone right by the phone so that it's getting recorded as well. Okay, Ms. O'Keefe from AES, you're going to talk to us about any updates having to do with Heritage Wind?
Yes. So you guys may have noticed, we a couple weeks ago just filed a minor modification request to ORES. Not the most, there's not a ton to this one. The four main things that we did were we added the Vestas V154.5 as an option, in case there's anything that goes sideways with the V162. We just want to make sure we have some optionality there. We added the ADLS tower, which is the tower that has to go up so there's no blinking lights. That will track anytime there's aircraft nearby, and that's when the lights will go on. And then as long as there's no aircraft going by, the lights are off. I think we view this as a benefit to the project. It was also part of the town ordinance that we would review, make sure we can get those approvals and get that going. So part of our diligence there is getting ORES approval, but in addition, we're also working with FAA and NEPA to get those approvals as well. We moved our permanent Met Tower over south a bit in a little more remote of an area. It just made more sense with the design to put it there. That just results in a pretty severe reduction of access roads, which is a good thing. And then we made a couple small shifts to linear facilities to work with National Grid setbacks. They have a 50-foot setback from any of their poles, which we weren't aware of at the time. So we're just putting those changes in this mod to take care of it. And then we did move one turbine 300 feet to the east. It was T20. That was just to make sure that the V150 could work from a sound perspective, because with the old layout, it did not. With this one, it does. The V150 has made a ton of improvements on their sound profiles, so now we can add that as an option. And the V162 is quieter anyway, so the change didn't make a difference there. So those are the main changes. They're all pretty minimal. They don't create material adverse impacts to the site overall. So we do anticipate it being designated as minor in a couple weeks from now. And then that'll probably have the same process as the last minor mod we got. So that'll probably be wrapped up in August. With that, while that's under review, we are also getting compliance filings prepared to file sometime in the fall so we can get our tree clearing approvals from ORES. We would like to do our tree clearing in February, March of next year during the clearing window for that northern long-eared tricolored all beetles. So with that, one thing we do need to work out with you guys is the complaint resolution plan. Part of the HCA was that we would have you comment and review the plan. I am nearly ready to have something to submit to you, so you'll have it before the next board meeting. And then we'd like to give you a few months to review that before we submit it to the state. So, I'm trying to think if I have any other major updates. But with all of that, the mod filing, right now from a schedule perspective, we would clear trees right at the end of the bat clearing, or at the bat window, so February, March, start civil work sometime in May, June, and then turbines would arrive in 2026 in May, and we'd be operational by October 2026. This is actually a schedule that feels more real than anything we've ever hoped for in the past, so we're doing our best to make sure that happens for our landowners. Yeah, I think that's all I have. I'm sure there's questions, so I will stop talking.
If, Carmen, if you're looking at the Vestas 4.5, what would be the new nameplate?
It would be 126 megawatts if we were to switch.
126 megawatts, which would be a reduction from to the town of how much, percentage-wise?
Percentage-wise,
Or general, whatever you got.
yeah, you'd go from 173 to 126, so it's a good amount.
So the smaller windmills, it's financially less for the town, is what you're saying.
Correct, yep, because the community payment is based on the nameplate of the project. So if we were to go over to the other one, that would all adjust.
But wasn't the pilot program, the pilot put out at a certain dollar amount that it was agreed upon?
It was based on megawatt. So the way it's drafted is it says the dollar amount is $9,000 per megawatt. It uses an example of the project size at the time, but there was no. These projects do kind of change size. So
There was no set amount, really? So the dollar figure that goes to the town can fluctuate up and down?
Yep. Yeah, so when we were considering the 6.8 turbines, it would have gone up from the original estimate.
Isn't that sort of a bait and switch?
No, it's not. I mean, the project size is going to be what it's going to be. We've had turbines removed. Unfortunately, we wanted it to be as high as it could be. We want the project to go up to 200.1 megawatts, but we've been in positions where we've had to remove turbines and make a lot of concessions. So as the project has shrunk, we're now at 28 turbines instead of 33. Unfortunately, these adjustments had happened.
So the size difference between, you said they were shorter. I read in there that they're 16 feet shorter, which when you're talking that kind of height, I don't think the average eye is going to be able to determine that they're shorter. Also, the moving the T20 over is going to affect, you said, 6 more non-participants are going to have higher flicker. But you're still counting on putting in, if anything goes over 30, we're shutting down the turbines. Anyways, right?
that's an operational loss for us. And as you know, the way that's modeled is here's the worst case. The worst case, if the sun's always out, things are always spinning, here's what these people would get. So between real weather impacts and the detection systems that we'll have on the towers, like once they hit 30, whenever it's sunny, they just have to stop. We have to take that operational loss.
When it comes to the lights for FFA or FAA, how close does an aircraft have to be to have the lights come on?
That is a good question. I'm not. That's something I can easily get an answer to, so I can email that to you.
Okay.
I don't know it off the top of my head.
So have you had a chance to go online and see our survey from the comprehensive plan that's on there?
I have not seen the results.
Okay.
I'm assuming they're on your website.
They're on the website, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And the people are opposed to the energy projects. This doesn't help the change in lowering the amount.
Well,
Right, and I hope that we don't have to. I mean, we're just adding it as optionality. So
I don't like it as
we
an
try either use the V162 or the V150. We'll see what happens when we get there.
yeah, as a town board member, we're trying to get as much financial support as possible through this program because we're the ones that have to bear the burden of it. My question is, do you know what the dollar-wise the difference between the megawatts would be from what was originally proposed in the pilot program to what it is today? And a two-part question: why could there be a problem with getting the original turbines? Is it a manufacturing problem or shipping or what?
It would. So there's no true risk yet, but Vestas has shown a little bit of hesitation on the transportation side of it. They're used to putting these kind of in open Midwest areas, so they're a little worried about the blades on this one in particular. We're doing all the studies we can and trying to get all our things in a row for that not to be an issue. But as a developer, when I hear that, I need to make sure I have optionality because I can't just put my project all in that one turbine if I'm hearing something like that.
Okay. To keep going on this, because I'm coming in. Me and George are after the initial impact of all this was put out there. In the pilot program, was an alternate size ever brought up, like it could go down to X or not, or was it just always looking at the rosier side of this is what we're proposing or our forecast is?
So the turbine that we were considering at the time was the Vestas V162 5.6, which doesn't even exist anymore. That one now is 6 and 6.2 and 6.8. So there's 3 different iterations of that turbine. But when we did the pilot in 2021, there was 33 turbines at 5.6 megawatts. So that was 184.8 megawatts. So 4.8 times 9,000. 9,000 was the dollar amount for everybody. The town of Barry got 75% of that. So Barry's was a little over 1.2 million with the nameplate of 184.8. So let's go to the worst case scenario, 126 times 9,000. That's 1.1 million. And then if you put in Barry's 75%, that goes down to 850,000. So it's compared to 180, if you go from 184.8 to 126, it's, I would argue, significant.
Well, it's enough.
So I'll give, from when the pilot was originally done, I did the numbers, and we're gonna lose $500,000 a year, 526,500 over the 25-year life. That's substantial. That's not a minor modification.
Well, ORES is reviewing it from a different standpoint. I mean, socioeconomic is part of it, but their main issue is the land use impact. So, I mean, I agree with you. That's quite a hit. So, the best the best case is we don't have to go with that turbine, but I need to have a backup, and that turbine does work at the
Turbine, is there a possibility it would be a mixture of the two turbines or not?
That is a great question. We do projects that have used multiple models. So at this point, we haven't made a firm decision. But the way it's cited, we're cited with the V162, which is obviously the larger one with the larger blade length. So, like, we technically would be able to use either or at any location. So that could be an option.
Okay, but you normally try not to do that, to have one throughout, which I understand that end of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's done both ways. It really depends. So we're not at that decision point just yet. But.
Okay, and you said that the one windmill is no longer available. Is it outdated?
So the Vestas V162 it still exists. They've just, I mean, gosh, so that one was around 2019, 2020, 2021 when we were having this conversation. That has just been improved upon. So now the Vestas V162 has 6 megawatt, 6.2 megawatt, and 6.8. The 6.8 megawatt does not work at this site, but the other two, 6 and 6.2, do.
Okay, so the technology is moving forward is basically what you're saying.
Correct.
20 years, where's the technology going to be?
Carmen, this is Bridget. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What is there a reason why you're not considering the 6.2?
We are just being cautious about the transportation issue.
Is it the same issue then as the 6.1? Or similar
Yeah,
to?
so the 6 and the 6, anything Vestas V162 is where Vestas is like, we think we can get it to the site, but we need to, like, we're not sure. Whereas V150 are like, we know we can. So we are just making sure we're covering our bases because we don't want to get to the end and only have one turbine permitted and then it can't be used.
And Vestas doesn't make a turbine anymore that's between 4.5 and 6. Is that what I'm hearing?
I think there is a V155.6, but for some reason, that's not the one we're looking at. I can ask my tech team as to why that one isn't figured.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Any other questions for Carmen? Okay then.
Alrighty. Thank you.
Very much, Carmen.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Do you want to wait and discuss this in order, or do you want to keep going with it?
Okay. So, letters to the board, old business, solar. Bridget, you want to say a few words?
The taxing jurisdictions finally have come to an agreement in principle, at least as relates to the towns versus the county and school district. I don't know that the county and school district have duked it out over who's getting what of that percentage yet. And we have received some draft documents for HCA and road use from the applicant that are under review, but they're not ready for showtime. So you're not going to see those probably for a couple months. The applicant still has a lot of work on their end to get like prospective routes. And Dale, I'm going to want your feedback once I actually have some idea of where they want to go. I kind of told them like it was a cart and horse issue. I couldn't sign off on an agreement before
also trying to speak with John Pippin.
Yeah, so
I want to get together with him.
it'll be a joint, the road use agreement that's being proposed right now is a joint agreement with the county and both towns. So I'd like to get all three of you together with myself and the two Kathys. Or let you guys talk and you just tell us what's what. Certainly you know better, your roads better than I ever will. But that particular agreement is not gonna move forward until I get some type of idea of what they want. They were hoping for some agreement on terms before they filled out the exhibits, and I just said no. So, okay. Um,
Where's under the road? Is what they're looking for. They
Oh.
want to know where all the water lines are so that they can.
yeah, I mean, I imagine that they're probably taking into consideration with road selection, right? I don't think that that's, I mean, we can ask them to, I mean, where our water districts are is oilable. No?
It's agreement for
Oh.
Heritage.
Oh, okay.
I thought we did.
Oh. Fair enough.
I don't remember how I sent it to them either, but
I stand corrected. Um, I am going to propose a compromise. Having been recently educated by Maureen that I was completely wrong about this and it's not foilable, I'll reach out to Jack and I'll copy you on it and just propose a confidentiality agreement. I think that would probably satisfy Homeland Security and
good
our
idea.
desire to protect our pipes in our water district and
Right.
their desire not to crush them. I think it's relevant information. So I'll reach out to Jack and propose, see if they have one they want to circulate. If not, I'll circulate one.
Of all districts as a whole?
No, not one map. Just we have that colored map that we use
Okay.
reference, but it's not a specific like what he's asking for. He's asking for the actual as-built drawings. Yes. No,
So that,
no. The as-built is what he wants. Thinking, I mean, if somebody more computer literate than me, maybe I can put them onto a thumb drive and send them to him. I tried to send one to him today, and
I'm positive he could set up a secure Dropbox.
Okay.
I know for sure they have that capability.
Okay.
So, and then you would just upload it to there. You don't have to worry about a thumb drive or it landing in the wrong hands or any of that.
Alright.
An encrypted Dropbox is a much safer way to go about that. But I will reach out to him about a confidentiality agreement. Or if you talk to him before I do, please just tell him that I want to talk to him about it. Probably really wants it after yesterday I told him I wasn't going to negotiate it until I had the roads.
Okay, anything else on Hemlock Ridge? Okay, Baird Solar Project, you got the most recent report, the weekly report that was sent out. Looking that report over, they have started putting, it looks like according to that report, if I read it right, they're starting in the southwest corner to start putting panels up down there. Monday morning, I had an appointment in town and I got held up because as I drove north on 98, I had these power line trucks in front of me and all of a sudden they pulled into both lanes right in front of the Baird Solar Project. One of them was trailering a telephone pole. So they blocked both lanes so that the guy could back that telephone pole in. It was interesting. But if you notice that coming from 98, they have put a number of telephone poles in there on the south side of the access. Power line, on to the transmission line.
So, both sides.
Okay, utility
Yeah.
pole. Yeah, because you know telephone's gonna be on it.
Showing your age, Sean.
Yeah, I know, I know. I resemble that. Okay. Heritage Wind, we just heard from Carmen about that, with giving us an update. And George wants to discuss something under new business pertaining to Heritage Wind, so we'll do that at that time. Comprehensive plan, has anything moved on? Unfortunately, I was unable to attend the last meeting, so.
So we went through the comprehensive plan, we went through the survey. We're winding down. We're working on now just kind of the maps and everything, but the survey, there's a lot of comments all the way through. We'd like everybody, planning board, zoning board, this board, to look at the comments and that so that you're familiar with them. And if you want to make any comments on the comments, you can send that to Barb Johnson. We're taking this month off, and we're going to be, the next meeting's not going to be till July. So that's going to give us time to review that. There are some fairly good ideas in the comments and that. So you can kind of say, hey, that sounds good, that doesn't sound good, here's a problem with that, kind of looking at those. There were some questions in the survey that didn't really pertain to the citizens, and it was more of an informational questions. For instance, where the people felt about it, the cannabis, the nothing we're going to change in the zoning on that, the term limits, things like that, just for informational, that we can look at it and use down the road if we decide to. So that was about it. Mainly look at the survey and kind of look at the comments. That's pretty much what this homework assignment was this month, and get feedback.
George, on the cannabis, what you've seen in the comments in that, does it look like there's a lot of people for or against? I mean, I'm old school, so don't count.
It was overall it was against. Overall it was against, but there was quite a few comments of people that were for and why. So there was some good comments that way that we're kind of trying to. Good opinions. That's good. And things to look into. But that was, what they're looking at is if there's some feedback from the public that we need to change, some of our zoning laws, or some of, making resolutions, and that's what we need to look at. That's pretty much it.
Okay,
Where we're at.
very good, thank you. Water District 10, WIA grants have to be submitted by this Friday, and as far as I know, our WIA grant is,
Went in last week.
what?
They submitted it last week.
Oh, they submitted last week? Okay. Now, this Friday is the deadline for it, so they're ahead. The CDBG is something we're going to address and act on under new business tonight. So we can get that rolling and get that submitted in the next few weeks. Well, it's going to be after our next board meeting. Okay. Okay, then, moving on to new business. Three. Okay, what I'm handing out to you, so you have it in front of you, is this is a resolution that the town of Barry 30107 hereby establish the following standard workdays for these titles and will report the officials to the New York State and local retirement based on their record of activities. This has both Dale and Maureen at this time, or we got to go through this every year with those employees that are part of the New York State retirement system. So we just have to approve this report here, and then Lee can submit it to the state. We will be getting two more. I can't remember who the other two are. Dale, do you remember? Did she say something to you? No. Okay.
Probably
I
the
can
new
tell by
code
the
enforcement
eyebrows.
officer. Probably the new code enforcement officer.
I think Jared signed up. I just don't want.
Well, we haven't. He has. We have.
Chad, I think Chad. Okay, I heard the door open. Guess who's coming in? Go ahead, Lee. Okay, those are the two. Okay. So we'll be getting those next month. Okay. Thank you.
Oh, well, maybe, do you know what the record of activities result 20-30? I don't understand. I mean, looks, the other's rate of pay. But I don't know what that is. Yours is rate of pay, right?
I don't know what you're at. I can tell you. what
After
it is.
Dale
Yeah.
Brooks,
So-
record of activities result, there is a 20/30.
I think this is what you're asking. At the beginning of every new term, an elected official has to keep a 3-month calendar of our activities. And then you total that, you divide, you add, and you get that. So, right?
That's why you're-
Has an 8 hours per day.
Okay, I get that. I don't know what you guys talked about there.
Yeah, you lost me at hello too. So
It's just to show that we are working the hours that we are supposed to be working.
well, I was looking at like, Maureen made 15,000 and Dale made $20. So it didn't look good for Dale at all.
No.
All the 3-month calendars
Record of
that you have. So we would be doing this again in 4 years.
It does not change anything in the retirement system.
And put in the file to show that we worked.
Okay, I don't know. I'm ignorant on that. I don't understand that, but that's fine. Okay. All right, so we need a motion to accept this, accept their numbers that they gave us, or?
Accept this document to be sent to the state, New York State Retirement System.
Making a motion to approve the standard workday and reporting schedule for posting and submission.
Okay. I,
Well, I,
so I am making a motion to accept this workday report resolution to be posted for 30 days and then sent in to the office of the New York State Comptroller.
Marla.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Aye.
Here. Thank you.
Okay.
There's no test at the end of it.
Next thing, as I said, for the CDBG, we have to have a public hearing. I was hoping that we could get away with utilizing our previous public hearing that we had. I was hoping that we could utilize our public hearings we had before, but CDBG wants everything up to date. So as a result, we need to select a date and a time. And as you see on this document that you have in front of you, I was looking at, and we can change it, but I just made a recommendation that on July 10th, which is our next board meeting, at 6:45, we have that public hearing for Water District 10. And this is just to outline, okay, this is what the cost expenses are.
That's what I was just gonna ask. So as a public person on that water line, I come to this public hearing and we have all the numbers of what it's gonna cost already with the grant, or if we don't get the grant, or how's that gonna work?
Well, we have to do this in
Right.
order to even apply for the grant. This is one of the many
So-
stepping stones.
So at the public hearing, we're going to present it like we're getting the grant, or I guess I need to know for the grant.
Presenting it that these are what the numbers are if we get the CDBG, which will pay for 70 or 75%.
Right.
Okay,
So-
and that's why we'll have Scott here, the engineer, so he can explain that to any residents that do show up. He can throw those numbers around a lot easier than we can.
So I don't know if anybody's gonna have an answer to this, but for grant purposes, that we would have a better shot at getting this grant, we should have a packed house with people saying, if we get the grant, we can afford it. If we can't afford it, and we're gonna have lousy water.
We're gonna continue looking for alternatives. At this time, right now, as you know,
But I'm saying for how to,
yep,
we want a packed house or we want an empty house? That's what I guess I'm looking at.
That's a better question for Lori at MRB. I don't know what, or, no, it's not MRB that's doing this grant application. It's,
so
Municipal Solutions.
Jay,
Jay Graff, right. Maybe we should ask Jay, because I just don't know. I haven't been through this process for this kind of project before. It's been at least a decade since
I'm wondering what they're looking for. If they're requesting a public hearing or requiring a public hearing before the grant, there must be something they're looking for, some key.
I don't
things to come out
know
of
that,
Public hearing.
I don't know that that's true, other than they want a box checked, because they're looking at the things that are in the engineer's report, like the income data, data about the poor water quality, all of the things that we already have. I think it's more that checking the box that the public is aware of this, but I could be wrong. So
Right.
Jay is the better person to ask if robust participation at this public hearing would enhance the application.
Who's gonna do? Oh, talk to Jay.
yeah, like Jay or really,
No,
No.
the question is, are you gonna ask Jay, or do you want me to ask Jay whether or
You don't.
not? Hey,
And then let me know if
we can answer.
hey, it's fine. It's fine. I just,
You should have also.
Right, but if we went-
Part of this, the CDBG, Jay had completed a median household income survey for Water District 10. I do believe I sent it out to every one of you. Did it on to you? No?
I don't think so.
Okay, then I will make sure you get a copy of that. I'll send it to you. It's been hit or miss with me and
Sean, do you think, will they have a ballpark figure for these people if they show up to this public hearing?
Yeah, if, once again, it's like, we got 65%, 70%, 75%. They will have a ballpark figure. It would be greater than the 50-50 that we've got at this time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's why Scott's gotta be here to fill those numbers out.
So you're planning on this public hearing being before our meeting?
Town board meeting, yes.
I think we probably should push that back, because if we do get a robust, by the time we present everything, and the people comment, we're gonna be at least a half hour.
What, 6:30 then?
I think it'd be 6:30.
Okay.
6:30 is fine with me.
If we find out. Here. Maybe we could send, once we find out if we, we need to go above and beyond, if we need the people here, maybe we can send a letter to everybody in that water district.
We are in that water district.
38.
38. Yeah.
38 is what feels right to me.
I was thinking 34, but yeah. Okay, then do I hear a motion then to have for a public hearing on Water District 10 for July 10th at 6:30?
I'll make a motion.
David makes a motion,
I'll second that.
Kirk second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, George, this is your time. You want to
Okay.
talk about?
Yeah,
And
the,
then give Maureen her time.
okay. Just what Carmen just, presented. And when I saw those numbers, I didn't like what I saw, in the drop in scale, and what we're gonna be losing. Yeah, they say, I reached out to Bridget and she reached out to Carmen, and Carmen said, well, it's just in case. That just in case could definitely happen, just like, they're not gonna make it there's too many things wrong to make it a minor, and they did that. So I think as a town, how low are we gonna go? And with the people speaking in the comprehensive that, 56% are opposed to this project, it's already been approved, it's already going through. I think we gotta hold the line where we can, and we gotta keep the money as high as we can. So I would like to see us make a resolution that's send to ORES, just that, the 4.2 is off the table, because that's just too much of a loss. I put this together, but I think that probably Bridget could do a better job if we elect to do it. The town of Barry would like to respond to the most recent proposed minor modification. I'd like to put that in parentheses for the Heritage Wind Project. The town would first like to share that we appreciate the developer intends to follow the town wind ordinance by including the ADLS tower, which I was really happy about. The town is opposed to the modification request of the developer possibly using the Vesta 4.5 megawatt turbines, and asks that ORES declines this request for the following reasons. Changing it from a 6 megawatt Vesta to the 4.5 Vesta is only a reduction of 16 feet. And I'm not going to go through all but will result in minor changes to the environmental impact for the proposed project. However, this does allow for a significant negative social economic change for the town of Barry. When we first did the pilot program, 204 megawatts that we, approved of and went, Now it's down to 126 megawatts, would be 526,500 less annually, 13,162,500 over the 25-year agreement in our community. And that's on those numbers there that I put together. This proposed modification would reduce the project to only 62% of the megawatts that were being proposed at the time of signing the host community agreement and pilot. At that time, the developer expressed that it was unlikely that the project would go below 190 megawatts, as they argued that this project would then become infeasible. With the removal of the turbines closest to the National Iroquois Wildlife Refuge, when the project was first shared with the town of Barre, the biggest proponent that has been shared advocating for such a project in our community is the positive economic impact. That's the only pro. And I keep saying, you know, what's the pros, what's the cons of this proposal? The biggest pro is the money. And now they're taking that away. This additional significant reduction in economic benefit on a project that is not desired in our community goes against what our community needs. At the time of the signing, the host community agreement and pilot, those making this decision were under the impression that it was highly unlikely that this project would drop below 190 megawatts. You know, now we're proposing the 126. The proposed project has caused a great deal of conflict and controversy, dividing our community. The town survey that was completed by LaBella and Associates at the direction of the town board and our comprehensive plan committee demonstrates this by the comments and results of the survey. The results can be seen on our town website. The results of the survey also indicate that a majority of the residents in the town of Barre are not in favor of industrial wind in our community. The majority of the comments also express significant concerns that are specifically directed towards industrial wind and this project. It is the only industrial wind project currently proposed in the town of Barre. I didn't go into the biggest negativity for the people in the conservation was the vistas, and where solar projects don't change the vistas, this is definitely going to be changing it, and that was the biggest negativity of the comprehensive plan. An additional reduction of 173.6 megawatts, which is what was proposed last, to 126 in nameplate capacity, only with minimal to no reduction of impact that this project would have in the town of Barre, would not be in the best interest of the town of Barre or New York State as it tries to reach the climate goals. I think that the town of Barre requests that the 4.5 megawatt Vestas not be allowed as an option for this particular project for the reasons stated above. We can do Bridget can do a better letter than this and that, but the bottom line is the last thing I said is I just don't think we should allow, or we may not have a say in it. You know, the state might okay it, but I think they should know that we are not in agreement with the 4.5 Vestas. It's just too much money loss.
Can I request a brief attorney-client session? Just brief. Just so, can I ask for a brief attorney-client session so I can advise you on this briefly? Okay, so we can step out. You don't have to do a motion for an attorney-client session. No, because the video is in.
attorney-client session. Beach.
Yeah.
And so
I was just gonna do it as part of the report.
Oh, yeah. Okay, fine.
Jump ahead to your report.
Okay.
I like that. That's sweet. Okay, my financials then. Okay, general fund, townwide. We have spent $274,293.93. 46.65% of our budget. That's the first 5 months. Highway, they have spent $360,344.40, which is 28.98% of their budget. Once again, the first 5 months. I have it down here as something to talk about a little bit later, but I'm gonna bring it in right now. Or no, I'm gonna wait till this report, which is right now. HVAC.
Yep.
So everybody got a copy of Dale's report, right?
Yes.
Any questions with his report at all?
I do have one question. Dale, I don't see when they're going to be starting to take down some of the trees along the roads.
Specifically Root Road, David?
That's one I passed that I did see. Those are little, those ash trees are very bad. And I'm just thinking of the community.
We are at the Mercy lift. Us, or Medina. I keep trying. That's all I can say. I don't know. It's something we don't want a one cut.
Yeah.
I think it's
There's a couple big ones there.
yeah, it makes a bigger mess. Could damage the road, could damage driveways.
Yes.
I see a nice blacktop driveway
Yes.
down there. I
Don't
want
damage
to
that. Seal it.
Our last board meeting, someone brought up the idea about insurance, which I hadn't considered. Because the problem we had with our furnace, which we are nursing right now, one of our furnaces. And then the air conditioner compressor seized up to that same system. So as a result, we've been checking with the HVAC companies here in the county. I did contact the insurance company, which they went through their out to the final insurance company that would handle this. And she left me a voicemail yesterday and one this morning. So Dale came in this afternoon, him and I called the young lady back again. We had a very good talk with her about what the situation was. And as an outcome of that, Dale is booked to have a virtual inspection of the furnace as well as the air conditioning system outside. So hopefully there'll be a few bucks coming to us that'll help cut the cost of the replacement.
I'm really amazed that an insurance company is backing the air conditioning heating unit unless it was damaged by an outside source. I'm pretty amazed about
Hey.
it. I mean, if you can get it, good for you. Believe me, I
Hey.
fight insurance companies every day. So
We have been doing periodic maintenance, routine maintenance.
Right.
So it's not like they've been neglected. So we've done our part.
Been upfront with them.
Yeah, God bless you.
We can get, no, we might not get anything. But we will see.
How much have we paid the insurance company over how many years? You know? Yeah. You bet. Yeah.
Good.
Hold on. I just thought of something when we were, the new grader will be here Monday. Yeah.
New toys.
Deeper.
Yeah, it's supposed to be delivered Monday. And they're tentatively sending a tech with it to answer any questions that y'all might have.
It's good everything.
Maybe I don't even think we need to add a light to it. Should be all on there. Radio. We'll put up one of our two-way radios in, you know, but
A lot of pipe leads.
no. The only thing we might do is put what we call our true and level gate on the outside. That might take a little modification, but minor.
Who's gonna run it?
It'd be Tom and Bud mostly. I'd like to get somebody else in there, but it seems like Tom and Bud are the ones that really show an interest in it.
They're a touchy machine.
Yes.
It takes a long
And
time.
this new one is all joystick, so it's going to take some getting used to. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Was the old
And Bud will do good on it.
was the old one a wheel?
Yeah. Wheel and levers to, you know,
What about the old one? Is
that when we get the new one in and we're comfortable with it, we'll talk about getting rid of the old one. Yeah. I want to make sure that they're both comfortable in that new one before you know, Tom's very good with that old one, doing T&L and so.
Revenues, $1,476.
Yeah.
$1,280. That's we're busy.
Okay, so I'm asking the town board to put in place a policy that when anyone making a payment to the town of Berry, that if the payment contains a large amount of coins, which I had an example here earlier for everyone. When it contains a large amount of coins, that the coins must be rolled in the wrappers, their name and phone number clearly printed on each roll. I'm asking that due to more than one example. What I showed you earlier also happened at tax time. Somebody paid a tax bill similar. Since there's been 2 events in less than 6 months, I think. If we have something on the books that then I can lean on that when contacting the person.
Can I offer a clarification? Instead of saying large amount of coins, can we put a number like 10 coins?
It is
Mm-hmm.
and any amount in there could be played with. That
I'm just thinking that if someone gave you 10 coins, that may not be as onerous as,
and I get that.
yeah.
If somebody's paying $75 and they have $72 in the
Mhm.
bills and the last 3 in coins, I take that. That's
Mhm.
not large.
Okay.
Okay. But if the minute I try to zero that down, then someone's going to play with that.
Okay.
If we put $10, they'll pay $9.75 in coin. No matter what we did.
Oh, no, I was saying a number on the coins, not a dollar value, like a physical number of coins.
I can handle that
Would
in
it-
motion.
Okay.
Would it be better overall to have a percentage? That way,
No.
no matter what the coin is.
No. I'm trying to make Maureen's life better,
Let-
not
let me-
worse.
Let me try this with a motion and see if it works. So I'd like to make a motion that any payments to the town of Barry that's made with change, that change must be rolled if it's the, the correct amount for that denomination to be rolled, must be rolled.
I'm worried about that.
Right, because what I see happening.
They're gonna go
say
one
quarters-
shy, yeah.
Quarters is $10.
Yeah.
Start with I see each one that'll be $9.75 will come in. So that's why I was trying to eliminate anyone trying to play with the parameters. Trust me, I take coins all the time because I need to replenish my coins. I thank people.
Yeah.
And I've been here 30 some odd years. You know, give me $3 in quarters and dimes. Thank you. Because it's exact change then. I can go and replenish what gets depleted in my
Okay.
petty cash.
But that would put that's the most they'd be able to do
In the $9
is the $9
and
and then
$10
$10 on
in
a dime and then
back to now I can't roll those quarters because I'm short a quarter. So now I've got $9 worth of quarters and whatever the dimes amount is, but I can't roll them because they're just so believe
I'll
me,
leave it alone. I'll leave your motion. alone.
yeah. I thought long and hard on this one.
I'm sure you did. I've tracked my comments.
So I move that the town of Barry accept payment with change needs to be rolled. If payment is if payment is being made with change, it needs to be large payments need to be rolled.
$4, $5, that's not much. Because I can replenish my petty cash. That way. This was $65.60 of points. That's large.
That's a tad
And the tax payment was even more.
dear.
Yeah, that takes time.
Yep. So I believe large should be left up to the individual taking the claim.
There's a motion.
I'll second it.
In favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Okay. Stephanie sent her report in. I believe we sent it out to all of you. Signing up for conference, July 14th through the 18th. Grievance day is come and gone, and only one correction to the roll. That was a clerk. So that's it. Current real estate report. 2 homes are on the market. Total assessed value is $203,000. Listing prices $1,000. 19% over assessed value. Quarterly sales, 6 homes were sold. Total assessed value is $397,600. Total sale value $768,000. So the homes sold were 3% over the assessed value. I'm surprised to see that. 6 homes sold in the last quarter. I keep hearing there's a couple of people I've spoken with, they keep looking for a place to buy in the town of Barry, but they can't find anything. So I don't know. These homes were, it's not like I saw anything since.
Back roads.
Okay.
John,
Yes,
on the
sir.
assessor, the county asked her not to update our assessment.
This
What-
year,
Yeah,
for
why?
2024,
Right.
well, the county had requested her not to do the update to 100% in 2024. That's after she spent last summer going around taking photographs, doing all the paperwork and everything else. They asked her to please do it for 2020. Because they've got, just what she told me that the county told her, is that the county had too many different towns that were going to 100% this year, 2024. And I mean, I think they got like 1.5 people working in their assessment. Taxing. So they would be inundated and overwhelmed. Barely. With all the stuff coming in, so they asked me to be please hold up. And she obliged.
Okay.
Code enforcement, Jared is taking his next class, I think he's on his third class right now. 1 week long each class. It's like he's in class for a week, then he has a week off, and he's in class for a week. At the end of that week, he takes an assessment that night. So he's busy taking his classes. Both Jared and Chad have received, as you see with Maureen's report, or I pointed out, $1,000 in building permits. Received many building permits. They've also are looking over cell tower modifications that have been submitted. And they have done a lot of site inspections. They've been quite busy. Planning board, Kirk.
Yeah, while you're still on code, well, I'll go right into it. One of those fellas needs to be available either here or on the phone at the planning board, not every month. There's certain times we have questions, and we did for the last 2 months. We had applications that they weren't complete, or we had questions. And in the past, Shelley would represent them if the clients weren't here, and help them through the process. And I mean, we turned it back last month, and we turned it back this month. Incomplete or with questions.
Has the planning board asked one of them either or to attend?
No, we have not. We'll leave that up to supervisor. Well, or make available
The
on the phone.
chairperson
Yeah.
of the planning board should make the request.
Okay, I'll tell them. And the first applicant was the tower on the radio tower. And they were on the agenda. Pardon me?
On Hemlock Ridge.
No, on East Berry Road. The taller of the two towers. So they got tabled till next month. Land separation, Bridget Cook attended, gave us some information, or gave the planning board information on subdivision. For an hour and a half. They had some questions. Bridget's gonna work on those. We're kind of a unique town, we're a small town, and well, maybe you know.
Sure.
You wanna fill them in on some of did you talk to?
Yeah, I talked to Bridget. Yeah,
Okay.
so since one of the things that the planning board asked for was that Bridget prepare like a proposed application form under the code, so they could see what would be required. She's already done that and sent it on to Tom and West. There was some confusion because the draft code had been sent to Tom and West, but had not made it to the other planning board members, so they didn't have it in front of them and hadn't read it in advance. So I think there was a lot of confusion there because it is not a small document by any means, and I think it would have been easier and probably less cumbersome for everyone if maybe it had just been tabled to July. But I think it has been circulated now, or it will be circulated now. And Bridget will be back next month to answer any questions and hopefully, address any concerns. I know that the planning board has had ongoing concerns about whether or not a subdivision code is necessary. I know I talked to the planning board a couple months ago about a situation that we had last year where it was a one lot subdivision that was going to create a non-conforming lot, and it was changed to be a conforming lot, but it's still not a great lot. So, but there was really nothing that at the time Shelley could do because there was no subdivision regulation. She couldn't push it to the planning board to have it made into a better lot. It was a situation where a driveway ended up on one lot and the house was on the other, and it was just not. And so there's been questions from the planning board about, maybe we just make subdivision if it's going to be 3 lots or more. Myself and I know Chad as well have advocated for it being even single lot subdivisions for exactly that purpose, because most of the subdivisions that you'll see in the town are going to be those 1-2 lot subdivisions. They're not going to be, at least at this point, a 40 lot subdivision for a big residential tract. Maybe in the future, and then you'll be glad that you already have the lot. But this really is to address that concern about, flag lots and just poorly configured lots being created willy-nilly because of lack of regulation. But this was I recommended this to Shelley and I think this board 2 years ago, and Chad brought it to the planning board when he took over for Shelley at the beginning of the year. So he made that as an independent recommendation. I just happened to think it's a great idea, probably because it was mine too.
Then we worked on they worked on the fee schedule. Did you get a note on that, Sean? Yeah.
Tom and I had a long talk on the telephone Monday before your board meeting. Him and I discussed a number of different aspects of the schedule.
Well, they decided to go with a 40% increase across the board. And I was too late. They'd already voted on it, but I really think okay, go with the 40%, but then you got to go down through, and there's some that, and so that didn't get done. That's what's getting thrown back to the town board. Which we tried to throw to the planning board already once. They did decide a demolition permit should be free. So that's that.
Okay, zoning board, Margaret.
Nothing. They haven't had a meeting.
Mark, David.
Nothing. I haven't had a meeting. Oh, you got it handy there because it's in my. By the time I do all my passwords, we'll have it out. Dale's doing a goddamn good job.
That like a 6 seconds to make it.
Well, I mean, gosh, whiz bang, he's doing great. Yeah, it looks like he's got the wire all installed. Conduit for future power, which we're still trying to figure out how big a pavilion / bathrooms we're gonna have. Jason's sort of been spearheading all this. The Ninja equipment that's already paid for, I guess our biggest thing is we got to figure out whether or not we're doing that this year or it's going to be even farther back. And we got to see if the fields are going to be used at all this year. I know they're being used some now. Is it soccer, Dale, or
Baseball.
is it baseball?
Yeah, they're using the lower field and the little league field.
They are using both.
The big field is the one that we really did a lot of work to.
Mhm.
That 4-inch under drain, as I noted in my report, but there's still more work to do there, but we can't spend all of our time at the park.
Right. And we got to decide with the Berry Betterment Committee and Jason at exactly how much we're doing this year
or in future years, breaking it. You gotta stick to, this is this year, period. None of this other stuff for right now, that's good to talk about, but we gotta, if we're gonna use it, we gotta move forward. Now that we have power, it makes more sense.
And that's another question to throw in is the conduit is up to close to where the pavilion's going. But we don't have any wire to go that far.
How
So,
far would you say it is? From the.
oh,
conduit?
you're talking
What's that?
300,
That much?
probably 300 feet. Yeah. 'Cause that has to come from the barn. All the control is out of the barn. So it brings up your question, Margaret, about the square dance. If you need power and lights, we usually put that, we call it our quiet generator. It's a tow behind diesel generator. It's got lights that'll go up.
Mhm.
I thought we usually supplied that for that square dance.
No, the people that call the dance, they have their own generator that they bring.
Oh,
And most times we're really not there after dark.
okay.
But
Okay.
thank you.
You do have power, like where the transformer is in the panel. There is a convenience outlet there if you need something, And then you also have the barn if you need to use the barn.
Said there. No,
Back.
You softball. Just had him and Tyler just kept going in. How is that?
That
Used to be.
that's the best investment we've made is that tiling. We could never mow the softball field until it dried out, and that field was one of the first ones that we could mow. And the first thing in the spring. So that's
So Creek Field was being used the other night. I'm now a frequent visitor, having a Berry Cub family. One field southeast corner was being used as practice, but then they went over to the northeast. And then the Cubs were on the southwest, right by the parking lot. And I was going to ask, because it's come up several times, and I realize it's not a paved parking lot, but parking was an issue, being blocked in. People parking like on lawn and all over. Okay, I didn't know if anything's come up before, because in order to get out from being blocked in.
I can see where people have been driving into fresh grass, fresh planted, seeded grass. And I've made a note today. Pardon? Yes, we did. They just park anywhere and they don't, there's no set spaces that's painted out or anything. It's a stone lot, so you're not going to get painted.
There's no regulation to it. So people just kept pulling in and they blocked that first road.
Yeah.
Traffic. So they left first. They just started driving anywhere to get out. So I'm there frequently now.
I made a note today to myself to bring up more big rocks to put around the transformer and the electric panel because I don't want to lose that.
But how many spaces would you say that people are just parking every?
I mean, I've looked from the road, Dave, but I've never gone into the parking lot when they're parking there for the games. But they should be able to get 4, if not 5. Actually, if they double parked in the middle, then they could have a single row at the grass, single row at the grass, and a double in the middle. They would.
If they'd start doing it.
Yeah. So I think I heard you volunteer.
Yeah, you-
I
you
have
get a
flag
vest.
and a vest for you. And I would provide a hard hat for you.
It says
And that was into the mic.
no.
The trouble.
Oh, I get that. I don't know what the answer is. I'm just saying it was an issue the other night of people not happy when they got locked in. I had two individuals. I didn't have my vest. and
Yeah.
stuff. I did almost, me.
Oh.
I thought I ought to just continue with the grandma.
You could even have a little card themed by Dale.
That'd be, you're correct,
Yeah.
I got a question on the playground, play equipment and the bids. Did we go back to our original fella at the 17,000 and have him itemize
He'll give us a couple different bills.
when?
He's already told me that. I mean, I have his total, but
Be nice if we could get a decision on that this summer.
You know what I thought about that today, one thing that would be ambiguous on that right now, that is being the existing swing and slide over there. So we want to make sure that is part of that as well. Our guys will be down there to dig the holes out for them so they can put the equipment in and put the concrete. So that is part on us. That our guys will do the border and the wood chips. But for what we want to make sure that's clarified in there, it's not clarified at this time. Placement of the existing equipment that we don't need over. And Dale said he's going to be checking that out.
he was actually, I did talk to him and I asked him to either stop out to look at the existing equipment or call me and I would meet him there anytime, and I have not heard from him. Of course, this is his busy season, so.
Okay.
Well, I'm looking down to
Trying to get some road work done.
facilities, David, anything.
Nothing major. I still want to emphasize, talking about EV charging stations, and I really think hydrogen is going to come start to pass EV. So we got to really think about our investment into that if hydrogen is going to be the next thing. And a bunch of the larger companies, Toyota's made really pushing hydrogen. One of the cars that's out now is it's an off company, but it's 5 minutes to refuel compared to how many hours, So, I mean, I don't know if the town wants to, if we can get it covered, that's fine. I put a large investment because we still have to do our structures and in 2 years, it's like in the past. So just something to think about. It's really coming on strong.
I don't know about some of the other stuff every so often, but I get stuff on utility, a lot of stuff I know, some things that. Other than just that. Especially like out of, Finger Lakes. Out there. Anyways, they have some stuff about. Municipalities. Which is more than just an EV station. I didn't know if it.
Yeah, it's probably it has to do with probably LED and wattage and everything else to the lower costs. Obviously, it doesn't get hot, so that's another plus. Unless it's on your car, and headlights don't storms.
Bridget, anything exciting?
Not in the last 15 minutes. I think we've talked about everything that I wanted to talk about today. So thank you for your patience.
Something I meant to point out before, I received today, I have us signed up. Now, we have 3 different electric bills. To community solar power market. And what I received today is that for January through May, that because of being part of that program, you can save $1,487.50 on our electric bills. Good. So
Very good.
it's not a huge amount, but you know, every time it helps. I also, quick, I'm not gonna read this stuff over. I put in your mailboxes. I was given this copy from the New York State Unified Court System. It is a letter to our county legislators from James P. Murphy, Deputy Chief Administrative Judge for all the courts outside of New York City. So basically, it's all of New York State agencies. And he's basically slapping the hands of the county legislature, what they're pushing insofar as a unified court system. Now, the second page I gave you was a resolution that was sent to me. This is one that they put, I don't know if you passed it or not. The town of Shelby had this at their town meeting last night. And I understand a few other towns have passed similar resolutions supporting the town to maintain their town court system and not totally district court system, the county. In light of this letter from Murphy, Judge Murphy, and I think I was going to talk to you guys about us doing a resolution from the town of Barry, but I think that this can wait until next board meeting because I'm going to be curious to see what the county has to say. In light of, I mean, basically, the judge said that they are totally illegal for what they are doing. They have to get fire the state first. And they haven't done that. They haven't even approached the state. So I'm going to do a wait see on this at this time. See what comes out of it.
Oh, sure.
Then I let the state know that you did it, all that. So there is that report, that paper report that I'll have you sign, but you've done the report.
I've done it, yeah.
Go make the report now, get that resolution on,
Okay.
and then that.
I did audit the judge's paperwork and everything balanced. Everything was fine. There were no problems. So all the numbers added up.
Okay, then, Donna, you want, could I have a resolution from the board accepting her report?
I'll make a motion that we accept the
Judge's audit.
judicial audit performed by Mark.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I do have one more comment. In my driving around the last couple of days, I was coming up Allen Road, and in the hayfield across from Dudley's, I saw 2 enormous bald eagles. Just beautiful.
there. Okay, now, this thing, then we can adjourn. I just want to double check because I have down the food shop July 1, 2020. The 4th of July is on a Thursday, so I would assume that anybody take the 4th of July vacation will be that long weekend after. So is July 1 still okay for a workshop?
Yeah, they never let me go.
Now you make it big fun. Okay, and then our town board meeting will be July 6th.
And the public hearing is,
6:30.
Public hearing at 6:30. Okay, then, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
seconded.
It's Kirk and Margaret. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Come on, where's the, there you are.